going on, Phantom Force? This is Phantombass, and we are here with our first week of the Pokemon Masters Cup team prep. I am your coach of the Cleveland Escavaliers. You will see our logo as soon as we switch to our team builder. And this week, I wanted to preface with the fact that we are fresh out of the draft. We haven't even gotten the power rankings yet out of that, but that's okay. We're going to see those next week after the first week's up. So I wanted to go ahead and open up by saying thank you guys so much for following this. I'm super excited about this. We have our first week's battle. It is against the Kansas City Kingdras and their coach KingdraPlaysGames. Go make sure you go follow him on Twitter and go subscribe on YouTube. His links will be in the description below, both in this video and in the battle that we have for him tomorrow, which will be up tomorrow. So let me go ahead and read off our team real fast. We drafted Victini, Mega Gardevoir, Milotic, Galvantula, Hydreigon, Aggron, Mienshao, Avalugg, Celebi, Garbodor, and Uxie. And his team is Mega Venusaur, Tornadus, Therian, Donphan, Arcanine, Vaporeon, Hitmonlee, Rotom Frost, Chinchino, Aromatisse, Zygarde, and Doublade. Now, let's go ahead and get into our team prep, because as you can clearly see here, this whole shebang, I have predicted what I think he's going to bring for his team. Obviously, we have our team set over here, and our beautiful logo. Anyway, so we're going to quickly go over what we are bringing, why we are bringing it, and why we're bringing the spreads we're bringing as well. So, first straight out of the gate, we have Carrie the Mega Gardevoir, who is obviously holding the Gardevoir, right? Rocking Psyshock, Hyper Voice, Shadow Sneak, and Energy Ball. And I will explain my reasoning for this. Gardevoir is actually going to be a big jump. My counter to Donphan. As soon as I can get rid of Donphan, rocks her up to stay. Because I don't foresee him bringing Hitmonlee, considering I actually drafted 4 Psychic types. And then I also have a Fairy type paired with one of those one of those Psychic types as well. So there's no reason for him to bring it. There's literally no reason for him to bring it. Plus I have Mienshao, which outspeeds and outclasses him as a fighting type. I can get a fake off on him before he gets one off on me. I can run acrobatics. After that, I mean, we could body that thing in a shot. But so with him thinking of that, he literally has no reason to bring Hitmonlee. If he does, however, we're still prepared for it. Psyshock is, in case Mega Venusaur is especially defensive, we're bringing Psyshock to hit it on the physical side. Hyper Voice is for literally damage on everything. It hits everything on his team hard, barring Arcanine and Doublade. But to turn around, we have Energy Ball for the Donphan and for the Vaporeon, which is super important that we hit either one of those really hard with this Energy Ball. Shadow Sneak is literally a gimmick. Okay, let me explain my EV spread here. With 28 in HP, 12 in defense, special attack is maxed out, and 216 in speed with a Modest Nature. Modest Nature is to capitalize on that Monster Space 165 special attack. The 216 in speed is to outspeed all of the max, I believe it's all of the max speed base 95s, which includes, I believe, Arcanine. So I think we outspeed them by 1, I'm tempted to say. I'd have to double check, actually. Let me run that calc real fast. Arcanine, maxed out in speed. We literally speed tie with it if he's not a boosting nature, which I find interesting. So it makes me want to add a little bit extra to it now that I'm thinking about it. But no, there's no reason. We're not actually going to stay on the Arcanine anyway. But just for your information, I have that there to outspeed non-invested Arcanine. I have that there to outspeed pretty much non-invested everything that is base 95 and lower on this team, which surprisingly is a lot of Pokemon. Arcanine and Zygarde are base 95, so we would actually speed dive a Zygarde if he wasn't invested in speed. Actually, if he wasn't beneficial nature in speed, but if he's maxed out in speed, we speed tie with no beneficial nature. We outspeed Mega Venusaur, we outspeed Hitmonlee actually before his Unburdened pops, if he brings that. If he brings Reckless, then we are in good shape. Shadow Sneak is actually for the Donphan, and here's my reasoning. We have enough HP and enough defense investment to live one Earthquake at about 2 to 3%. And if we fire off an Energy Ball first, then we can proceed to outclass his, or out-prioritize his Ice Shard and go for Shadow Sneak, because we'll be faster than him. Shadow Sneak will kill it in a shot. Even if he's got Custap buried, we will still outspeed him. So, that is our set on Mega Gardevoir. There's our reasoning behind it. It literally takes care of the vast majority of his team. Now, to back it up, we've got our physically hitting Choice Scarfed Victini, who is running just enough speed to outspeed a max speed timid Tornadus Therian, which is the fastest Pokemon on his team. After the Scarf, we outspeed him by 1 point, I believe. We're running Victory, Bolt Strike, Zen Headbutt, and U-Turn. Zen Headbutt is for, once again, especially defensive Venusaur. It's also for Hitmonlee. It is for everything that's name isn't Arcanine or Doublade. And we have Victory for Doublade. We have Bolt Strike for Tornadus Therian. We have U-Turn in case we foresee a switch. It's a standard it's a standard Victini set. It is 5th of November, our Victini, V for Victini. Anyway, so we have enough HP and defense investment to actually take around 25% from a Poison Jab from Hitmonlee, from a max attack Hitmonlee, which is crazy. So, that was after me testing this in battles. Our next Pokemon is Makala Milotic, who is going to be one of our big walls. It has 244 in HP, it has 220 in defense, 12 in special attack, 28 in special defense, 4 in speed. 4 in speed is so that we outspeed someone who speed crept us, I believe. Either that or so that we I believe it is someone who speed crept us without us putting any speed investment in. I'm not sure, I can't remember. No, it's so that we outspeed Mega Venusaur, a non-invested Mega Venusaur. That's what it is. Just to make sure that we outspeed a non-invested Mega Venusaur. Because that way we can fire off. We have enough special defense and HP investment to live a Giga Drain around 60 or 50%. Fire off a Mirror Coat, kill Mega Venusaur in a shot, should that come down to that. Scald and Ice Beam are standard, but the only reason for those is Ice Beam hits Tornadus, Ice Beam hits Zygarde really hard. Scald hits everything else not Vaporeon. And Recover is to get stuff back up. The competitive is for that Arcanine. If he brings Intimidate Arcanine, he's in trouble. Because this will forever and always be our switch into it, because the worst thing he can do is go for Wild Charge. If he does that, we actually have some better checks to that as well. Speaking of checks to that, we have Hand in the Hydreigon. Shout out to my boy J-Specs. We have 12 in HP, 4 in defense, 252 in special attack, 108 in special defense, and 132 in speed. The 132 in speed is for us to outspeed, I believe. That's right, if we speed crept a non-invested, a non-invested Arcanine, I believe. Jolly Nature, it outspeeds us anyway, but there's not much it can really do to us, and most people don't run max speed Arcanine unless you're going offensive, and even if he does, we have huge checks for that, because that means he's lacking in his defenses, and which means we will easily wreck him with Milotic. So, usually he's probably going to run a physically defensive one though, to kind of wall out, physical hitters, such as anyone that can rip Earthquake. He is Assault Vest to bluff the Scarf, and the reason I'm doing that is because I want him to bring in, if he brings Aromatisse, I want to be able to switch over to Flash Cannon and smack it, or predict him to bring in Aromatisse and hit Flash Cannon, because that way we can just smack it really hard. And pretty much it hits everything else for decent damage that isn't Donphan or that isn't Arcanine or Vaporeon or Doublade. But we've got Earth Power for all 3 of those, and if we have Vaporeon out, we'll just hit Draco Meteor and U-Turn, because that way we can go, oh wait, he thinks we're Scarf, we'll hit U-Turn, especially if we can go for a Draco Meteor against Vaporeon, get some serious damage off. Then he swaps out into then thinking we're scarfed, he swaps out, or specs, he swaps out into Aromatease. We will hit U-turn, and it'll be a safe switch out for us. It won't be much damage against the actual Aromatease, but it will do us some good to get some initiative. Speaking of good things to come, we have Doctor Who the Celebi, who is our specially defensive wall. We have Heal Bell, Giga Drain, Stealth Rock, and Psychic. Psychic is actually for the Mega Venusaur, should it be physically defensive. So we have some checks on both sides for Mega Venusaur. We are rocking 156 in HP, 40 in defense, 60 in special attack, and 252 in special defense. This way we kind of don't die to any one hit, per se. Donphan can't kill us with Ice Shard. We can't be killed by Knockoff, I don't think, unless it's from Hitmonlee or Donphan. But usually people who run Donphan don't, if they're gonna run it, they won't stay out on a Celebi. But we're also running Giga. After much debate, we were gonna bring Earth's Power to predict a switch into Arcanine, but I figure Giga Drain is a little more helpful if we have it in place of that, because it hits the Donphan and it hits the Vaporeon for super effective damage, and it hits everything else, and it hits a good chunk of everything else for neutral. But even still, even if we hit something we're not very effective, we get some HP back. Stealth Rock, obvious. We're gonna set up our rocks, because once we can get, that will bait in his switch to Donphan, I think, which we can predict and go out into Carry to pull up our little shenanigans to KO it with Shadow Sneak. So with that, we're actually going to go out to our final Pokemon, which is Boat Wrecker the Avalugg, whose leftovers and sturdy heat is actually our only standard EV spread, but the reason I'm running it this way is because I have to. He literally walls. He's a good check to Arcanine, surprisingly. Actually no, it was a check, what was it a check to? It was our check to Zygarde, and our check to Tornadus Therian as well. Okay, so he is literally the lowest speed possible he can be. No IVs, minus speed nature, just so that we will that way we literally outslow everything on his team, so that we will be able to fire off an Avalanche and get the maximum damage for it. And base 117 attack is not that bad, honestly. We actually, with this spread, no matter what, we will one-hit kill the Tornadus Therian. So, rocking Avalanche, Rapid Spin, Toxic, and Recover. I'm considering bringing Protect over Toxic for the sole reason of, if he brings Hitmonlee, I want to be able to predict him to go for a Fake Out, and we instantly prevent him from using his normal gym, and then he'll either have to go for a fighting move, or he'll have to switch out, which would not be good for him, because he wants to have that thing have Unburden. So I see him using normal gym with that, and that's going to be really hard for him to do, especially if he can't. And if he can't pop his normal gym, he can't get his Unburden boost. And honestly, if he runs Reckless though, then we're fine. That'll. Honestly, I want to switch in Gardevoir on his Hitmonlee to figure it out, because we have Trace on it beforehand, so before Mega Evolve, so that we know what his nature or what his ability is. If he is Reckless, we are set. This thing walls a lot of his team, particularly a lot of the physical hitters, and then we also invested obviously we maxed out his special defense just so we could take a couple of good hits here and there. This thing walls Mega Venusaur. It can pretty much 1v1 it. We can Toxic Stall and Recover. If we need to, we'll swap. Our biggest thing is, this is where I start planning for the battle as far as how it's going to go. His lead, I predicted, would be Tornadus Therian, telling me that he would which means that I would probably leave with Avalugg, so that I can easily just smack it with an Avalanche and kill it. That would be my big thing. If I can kill it with an Avalanche, then the next turn, he'll probably bring in Hitmonlee. If he brings in Hitmonlee, then hello. So yeah, if he brings in Hitmonlee, then we get a good bit of damage off on him anyway. And we'll probably proceed to either Toxic him, or if I would put Protect on him, I'll put Protect. If he ever brings in Mega Venusaur, our switch is automatically Celebi, because we prevent Leech Seed and Sleep Powder, and we live Sludge Bomb twice. It's on right now, but I'll turn it off before you get out. That should be done really soon anyway. Anyway, sorry, that is my wife. Shout out to the Phantom wife over there, Mrs. Phantombass. Anyway, like I said, our switch into Mega Venus will 9 times out of 10 be Celebi. Because we need to prevent Sleep Powder, we need to prevent Leech Seed. And then, if he goes for Sludge Bomb, we live that twice. We can go for a Heal Bell if he get poisoned. We go for a Psychic to hit it for some really hard damage. And then if he tries to go for another Sludge Bomb, we go out into, I believe, Hydreigon, actually, because we're Assault Vest and we have a good amount of investment in the special defense to couple with that, so that we hit really hard. We're actually timid on this one, so we outspeed a lot of Pokemon too. But yeah, and then I switch into Arcanine. Most of the time it's going to be Milotic, because we eat up hits from it for days, and we can fire off a Scald and smack it really hard for damage. Most people don't run specially defensive Arcanine. If they do, we've actually got Victini to take care of that. And Victini is our switch into, let me think. What else is Victini a switch into? Actually, Victini will be our switch into Hitmonlee most of the time. The only reason is that we're Scarfed. And if he's not unburdened, then we are going to be fine, because we are going to kill it with a Sin Headbutt. I'm considering sticking a Rocky Helmet on something instead of Leftovers. I just can't think of what I would put Rocky Helmet on. Either I was thinking actually putting a red card on something, potentially, for that Hitmonlee. If he's unburdened and he goes for Fake Out against any one of my Mons, particularly if it were Avalugg, then I would be able to turn around, hit red card. He'd never be able to have unburden, his unburden boost again. That would be the big thing. That would be the cost, or that would be the thing. So now I'm going to have the time right. Analyze my win conditions here. Obviously, getting Rocks up is important to me because it cripples Arcanine and it cripples Tornadus. If he brings Hitmonlee, he has a second Rapid Spinner, but would he? I'm not sure he would sacrifice a Rapid Spin, a slot for Rapid Spin. We could have Knockoff, Close Combat, Poison Jab, and Fake Out. That would be the set I would bring, actually. Either, but if he's a Reckless set, I would bring High Jump Kick in place of Close Combat. So, yeah, if he is a Reckless set, that's what I would bring. Now, that would mean that we'd outspeed Victini and kill it in a shot with Sin Headbutt, and nothing on the team resists Sin Headbutt except for Doublade. If he brings Doublade, we will. Let me do a calc on that real fast. Actually, I want to see if we kill a Doublade. Doublade, OU Mixed Wall. They usually put up special defensive. Okay, so Victini has a chance to, or doesn't have a chance to kill, but it's 95%, or it maxes out at 95%, and the worst it can do is, let's see, what if we run a Shadow Claw on this thing? Shadow Claw maxes out at 51%, so we would be fine to hit it twice with a, let's check Shadow Sneak. Because its priority, it only does max 29%. So we're good on that front. We'll kill it. V-Create. This thing literally has nothing for me. Now, if he's max attack, then Shadow Sneak still maxes out at 36%, and Shadow Claw maxes out at 61%. We still kill it in 2 shots, and it can't do anything to us. And then, on top of that, if I predict him to go for a Shadow something or another, I will go out into, actually I'll probably go out to Hydreigon and just go for an Earth Power. Because we can outspeed it, every time. So, and even if it's max special defense, we can kill it. Actually, let me check that. Let me check Hydreigon, let me go to Hamden. Earth Power has a high chance to 2-ko. That's if it's sassy nature. And max special defense max HP. Let me check how much a Sacred Sword would do. Sacred Sword is a guaranteed 2-co with the set I've got. Granted, we have only 4 defense investment. EP, it's okay. That would actually be fine. It's also got, oh, that's right, it's EV Light. I don't have a knockoff user either, but it's okay because we literally don't need it. So, that's if he brings Double Aid. I seriously doubt he'll bring Double Aid. Just because, once again, we have so much that covers it. Hydreigon, Victini. Who else do I have on my team that walls this thing? Honestly, Milotic does. We've got, honestly, Garbodor takes care of this thing hardcore. And then Hydreigon could, or not Hydreigon too. Aggron, Mienshao would destroy it because it gets knockoff big time. So yeah, this thing, you wouldn't want to bring it. But if he did, we're prepared for it. We are prepared for it. Now, if he brings Chinchino, that's why I'm bringing Victini, because Victini outspeeds Chinchino. We would smack it really hard with this V-Create and kill it in a shot, essentially. And so, if he brings Zygarde, we've got... that's funny. But we've got Milotic for that to cover it on the physical side. We would, because its better stat is physical attack. We're a physical wall in that regard, and if that doesn't work, we definitely have Avalugg to wall that thing for days and days. So, and Rodent Frost, there's no reason he would ever want to bring that. But if he did, we have V-Create on Victini, literally bodies in a shot. There's no hope. Like, you can't do anything about it. Rodent Frost, a PU Choice Scarf. Let's just assume that it's max every stat. That's what I like to do. We're gonna go into Victini, and we're gonna make this thing like 50, and it's gonna die to a V-Create, regardless. Even if he is a bold nature, we kill it with V-Create no matter what, every time. So, there's no hope for this thing. Maybe Choice Scarf, we outspeed his Choice Scarfness. Actually, no, we don't. If it's max speed, well, if it's max speed, but they can't run all these stats maxed out. But we do outspeed it. With our Choice Scarf, we would body this thing, and it still can't do anything. The worst thing it could do with us, it would be to hit Thunderbolt. If it did want to hit us, we'd body it in a shot if we create those, so there's no point. Yeah, so we have this entire team checked. We're good to go. The last thing I want to do is I want to give our team, our team a little pep talk real fast. So I'm going to back out to this whole thing and cue the music change. We are going to have our little pre-game pep talk. Alrighty, Escavaliers, it's time. You guys have prepped for this day. We have been battling set after set of potential teams we could have to face against for this week. The Kansas City Kingdras are bulky, but we are prepared. Gardevoir, make sure that you are smacking Shadow Sneak like crazy if you see any Pokemon somewhere close to 5% health. If you Victini, you outspeed everything, so just make sure you smack everything hard. Do not click Bolt Strike if that Donphan is still alive. And if Zygarde is coming to this as well, make sure that you are U-turning like crazy. Milotic, eat all the hits. Mirror Coat is going to be your best friend against that Mega Venusaur. Hydreigon, you make sure that you wear that fake invisible scarf like everyone else thinks you have it. And make sure that you scare them. Scare them good. Draco Meteor will do us a lot of good in this. Celebi, get those rocks up as soon as possible. That way we can have Donphan baited in for good old carry up there. And Avalugg, you make sure you keep all the rocks away from us. And make sure that you are doing some serious damage with your Avalanche. I know you're slow, but there's a reason for it. You will do just fine. You all are going to do great. We're going to handle this battle really well, and we're going to come out with a W this week. Let's go, Escavaliers. If you guys have enjoyed this video, make sure that you subscribe, make sure that you like this video, and leave a comment saying which of these sets you like the most. And if that's all it's been for me, then this has been Phantombass, your coach of the Cleveland Escavaliers, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.